Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for being with us. Well, this ongoing drought in northern Nevada means some changes to the way we use water at home and in our yards. But for those who rely on water for their livelihoods, like farmers, drought is an even bigger concern. So for today's show, we are asking two experts with very different backgrounds how we can tackle this problem. Rusty Jardine from the Truckee-Carson Irrigation District and Afwate Mer here all the way from Tunisia, both here to talk about this with us. Thank you both so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Afwa, we'll start with you just because your story is unique. What brought you to the United States and specifically here to northern Nevada?
Thank you for the invitation first. I came here through the Fulbright program, and I came exactly to Reno, Nevada to give a lecture at Fallen Campus, thanks to the support of the Outreach Lecturing Fund that helped me to pay the expenses of the travel. And the Nevada also department here helped me to have a great visit. So I just thank the Fulbright program for this great experience, and I encourage everybody to apply.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with the Fulbright program, let's talk a little bit about what it is and what it does.
The Fulbright program is supporting research stay for a foreigner to come to U.S. to run their research projects, and it depends the period. They have to evaluate the project so as they can give you from 3 to 10 months stay. So it's a very, very exciting experience.
So you're here studying some things and also presenting your findings, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so specifically what you've studied is farming practices in arid climates, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how did you get into that?
Okay, so I did my PhD in plant biology, specifically on the effect of a drought on barley plants, and now I'm going further to more chemical analysis to do on the plants subjected to drought. And I'd like to speak about a little bit about the local varieties, because I work basically on the local varieties, how to save them, and this is very, I think, interesting for farmers.
And something that's important in Tunisia also, right?
Yes.
What similarities are there between the climate in Tunisia compared to here in northern Nevada?
Okay, so I noticed here when I came that the landscape is very similar, that the temperature is quite warm in this part of the year and this time. So I think drought stress now is a very serious and a complex constraint that is affecting almost all over the world. Right. So I think we have to go into making a collective efforts in order to deal with this problem.
Yeah, all around the world too, not just here. It's something, yes, I think we're fairly used to dealing with living in drought here in northern Nevada, but it doesn't make it any more pleasant, really, for anyone, but especially not for the farmers. Rusty, that's kind of where you come in. You deal with a lot of farmers. What's the situation in northern Nevada like for them now?
The conditions this year are as bad as we've ever seen. The worst supply season that we incurred to date was about 28%. And I'm talking about total water supply. And so if you look at that and compare it to the conditions presently, we're looking at about a 20% supply year. We've never seen this before. As we look around, you look at Lake Tahoe. It's below its natural rim. Look at the Truckee River. We're just simply not getting the contribution from all of that runoff that we would otherwise enjoy with good snowpack. And so that translates to a poor water supply. We depend in the Fallon area upon the contribution of the two river systems, both the Carson and the Truckee River. That's our water supply. And so when those rivers are not producing as they should, as they normally do, then of course that translates into a poor season for our farmers out there. Now when I talk about that, I guess something you ought to, or we should keep in mind is the fact that we've seen these things before. We've seen cycles. If you were to look at the 100-year history of Lake Tahoe, it kind of goes up and down, and we're kind of falling into that kind of cyclic pattern. Somewhat to be expected. That doesn't make it easy.
Right. Now, this is a question I'm going to pose to both of you. Is farming in a climate such as ours a sustainable model Or should we focus our economy more on things that are less water dependent? Rusty, you can start.
Oh, I would love to start. We certainly, in Fallon, and I'm speaking now on behalf of all of our farmers, this is the lifeblood of our community, naturally, agricultural production. We're very passionate about that. We made a decision long ago when we brought together the Newlands Federal Reclamation Project, and people came out here to the west and homesteaded. We determined then and there that we were going to provide for an agricultural-based economy. We've stuck with that, and we would like to see that perpetuated. Naturally, we're seeing a lot of challenges. The drought that we have before us right now is an incredible challenge for all of us. But our farmers are resilient, tremendously so, and we think that they'll go ahead and they'll make it through this time. We're looking to good years to come, but we believe that it is a sustainable economy. We should continue to provide in this fashion, and we will.
What about you, Afwa? Do you think it is sustainable?
I think it is sustainable, but we have to focus on the varieties we are cultivating. Especially, we have to choose the varieties most adapted to these areas. So as we know the water use efficiency of this plant, and by that we know how much water we can monitor to these plants, and we can by this way don't waste a lot of water resources when we don't need to do that.
So I know one of our big agricultural products is alfalfa, among a few other things. Should we be changing the plants we're using? What would you suggest?
I suggest that we keep using the local varieties in these areas subjected to drought, because these varieties are most adapted to this water scarcity, and introducing new varieties we just increase the consuming water, you know.
So is there specifically anything else we should be planting?
We can set a system with what we have like technologies, and this system is must be related to the industry, to the change of water demand, and for also all related field consuming water. And this system should be supported by research that perform models that can predict the impact of a drought on the country and the community.
Right. Now, is this something that the farmers already do? I mean, are they already planting kind of more drought-resistant plants, or is that a step they haven't taken yet?
No, that's something that they have done, and I agree fully. That's you have to look at those kinds of species that are adaptive to local conditions. We've done that. We've provided for that kind of thing in our area. And one of the challenges, of course, associated with that, when we talk about drought conditions and the lack of water, is the fact that our irrigation district, our project, it is an open channel system, and it's gravity flow. And so there are technologies that you speak of that could certainly be adapted, you know, for our purposes. But we're talking about an incredible infusion of money into that to make that possible. What we do is simply provide for flood irrigation. We bring water into canals and laterals, and we actually open up gates. This is what we'll call the old-fashioned way, and then we flood irrigate these fields. Naturally, if we were to take some systems and provide for that water right to the ground, right to the root of the plants, imagine how incredibly efficient that would be. But we're talking about something that we simply aren't capable of doing right now.
Is that the type of technology you're talking about, something that is a little more tailored?
Yes, exactly. It's important just to estimate the demand of the plant for water. So as we don't have to just irrigate without, you know.
What advice do you have for farmers, you know, who maybe would like to make that change, but it's too expensive of a change? Are there other methods they can use? Any different thing they can try?
Well, I think the years there is now rainfall going to be serious for sure. but I think that just keeping always using these varieties, I think there is no another magic way to do. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Huh. Well, where we stand now, I mean, is it a valuable thing to get as much outside input as possible? I mean, different things that maybe different areas have tried?
I think there's a value component to that. Of course, the farmers in our area look to that kind of thing on a regular basis. I will tell you that every day our farmers get up and they're looking to see what the weather's going to be like. That's their life, and so they rely upon that information. They're looking at river flows. They have an idea of how much water is in a reservoir and that kind of thing, and so using all of that information to their ready, they're able to make some important decisions about their crops and that kind of thing. One thing I would add, you know, you spoke of what can we do out there. We're doing some things based in Nevada law that are very helpful, one of which we call a farm unit. And that provides a farmer to be able to provide a water budget for his entire farm. And so in that fashion, you go through an application process with the Nevada State Engineer. And the engineer would provide for a permit for what we call a farm unit, allowing the water that is ascribed to the farm to be used, the place of use is the entire farm. And so what it'll allow is you can concentrate water in a particular area of the farm that provides the best production under the circumstances, and allow other lands within the farm to fallow. And so with that kind of flexible management of your water supply, that's one of the mechanisms we use to adapt to these kinds of dry, warm conditions.
Yeah, and in this low water situation we're in now, I imagine we're probably going to be seeing a good number of fallow fields
We will.
this year.
Yes.
That's tough.
Yes,
tough,
it is.
Tough for everyone. Well, fingers crossed for water.
Indeed.
All right, that is it for us. Thank you both so much for coming on the show. I sure appreciate
Thank
your
you.
input.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely. That is it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information or to see past episodes, just head to our website, ktvn.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week.